Hey there and welcome back to XCOM 2. My name is Pete and today we complete another episode of our Legend Ironman walkthrough of XCOM 2 War of the Chosen. Last time we left off after a fairly standard mission that saw us unlock the heavy metal achievement, and today, well, the video title already gives it away, I think, things are going to get a bit more interesting. And so let's get right to it. The end of the month supply drop and report are getting close, so let's keep scanning for intel as we wrap up another month.
Incoming message for you, Commander. Patching it through to your quarters now.
You have made considerable progress against the aliens over the past month, Commander. I hope that your ongoing efforts will only lead to further success.
Alright, the Council as usual happy with our work. Our campaign has now actually gone on for almost an entire in-game year, and at least for the moment I think it's safe to say that we have the alien threat well under control. And that goes doubly so for the Chosen, of which only the Assassin remains. I am actually a bit torn between wanting to take her out and letting her max out her knowledge bar to see another assault on the Avenger, as that is something that I would really like to show you guys, but of course not if it forces us to keep playing for much longer than necessary. The upcoming Dark events, they're nothing too threatening, I think. A major Avatar project breakthrough not really all that dangerous to us at the moment, and I would also say that Advent troopers carrying more grenades is nothing to get concerned about. So, with one more week until the next retaliation strike, which will actually be an important one for us, let's move on to resistance orders. And for the first time in a long while, we are going to make a change here, because at least for this month, we are activating recruitment centers, using it to replace Vulture. The simple reason, we want to hire some rookies, and Advent has just initiated a dark event doubling the cost for their recruitment, which we can now at least partially counter with this resistance order here.
Consider it done, Commander.
All in all, though, it's not like money is that much of a problem at the moment. We are sitting comfortably at about 3,000 supplies, so we could easily afford those rookies no matter what. Alright, and it looks like we have today's mission coming in early, and looking at the objective as well as the number and types of enemies, I think we will risk it with this one. Yes, we are going to tackle this one with a squad consisting entirely of rookies. That is what we need to do to unlock the Beginner's Luck achievement, and generally I would recommend doing this as late in the game as possible, just so we can give those rookies some of the best equipment in the game. Unfortunately, the rookies themselves won't bring that much to the table. Now, normally hiring rookies costs 40 supplies per soldier. Using that resistance order, however, we have decreased that down to 15. The Advent Dark event, meanwhile, is still active, so the price is then doubled again, so we're now looking at a price of 30 supplies, still a 25% discount. Now, the list of rookies here are all soldiers created by people supporting me over on Patreon, and we will now select 6 of them at random, starting with Alex Cardwell, nicknamed Slider. Alex was training to be a doctor when the aliens invaded. At first, he tried his best to offer his limited services to help treat people injured in the initial attack, but as time passed, he found that his steady hands made him more useful on the front lines. Being able to adapt to the needs of his unit made him a valuable asset, and quickly found himself dedicated to fighting the aliens back alongside XCOM. So potentially a sharpshooter in the making here. Let's keep going. Hire number 2 then, Quinn Disglerio, nickname Long Volley, who was born as the 4th child of a respected military family. His mother takes part in a lot of secret military operations far behind the enemy lines, where she first met and fought together with her later husband and Quinn's father. He was part of a sniper team which had to eliminate an enemy general, but the mission was going horribly wrong. Several years later, the family had 5 children. All of them were sent to an elite military boarding school to continue their mother's glorious career. In contrast to his older brothers and sisters, Quinn was not as talented as them. He wasn't a bad student either, but he was not interested in special operations. So comes the day where in a training session he fired all of his bullets in the first few minutes, laughing the whole time, instead of organizing his ammo for the long fight ahead. After he was fired from that elite military boarding school, he then joined the regular forces, where his commander figured out how Quinn's head works and which incentives she has to give to him, so that he became an indispensable part of every military unit. But she also couldn't untrain his soft spot for long volleys in every favorable and less favorable situation. And Quinn is not getting tired of repeating, "The day will come where you will be thankful for my long volleys. I will save your asses, you will see." Today he joins the XCOM squad. Maybe here will come his time to shine, together with his loved big guns. So, a lengthy biography here, thank you so much Quinn. Seems to me like this guy is destined to become a grenadier. Rookie number 3 then, Vincent Cheap Shot Trudeau, submitted by Cheap Milk. Vincent hasn't been the easiest to work with in the past. Disobeying direct orders to follow his own moral compass isn't what a soldier is supposed to do. Luckily for him, his affinity for marksman weaponry kept him in the military, as he would be too valuable of an asset to lose. Now he's on his way to join the XCOM program. Keeping an eye on him is recommended. So, a sharpshooter in the making it seems, so let's continue with hire number 4, Jane Nova Kelly, submitted by Claybear Gaming. After the world government surrendered to Advent, Jane became a lone wolf hunting aliens for sport. XCOM happened to come across her in the rural countryside of the United States. She kept tight-lipped about herself, only sharing her skills and kill records. So we'll see how she develops. Sadly, she can't become a Reaper. That seems awfully fitting to me. Which brings us then to rookie number 5, Matthew Bush, submitted by the Patreon supporter of the same name. His bio is short and to the point. Sure, he may have 2 left feet, and sure he can't hit the broadside of a barn, or even know which side of the gun the bullets come out, but he does have a heart and reckless abandon. To me, potentially a good candidate to become a ranger, as we now complete our hiring process with Martin Madrignac, once again submitted by the Patreon supporter of the same name. During his childhood at the Danish-German border, he was bored, left alone, frightened, but stubborn enough not to give up. Somehow he survived the harsh circumstances, always careful not to take any risks to get caught by the alien invaders, who were responsible for his demise, losses, loneliness, and so it happened that despite his experience, one day he got caught, but luckily not by aliens, but by an XCOM squad which was on a mission to exterminate aliens in exactly that region he was living in. First showing off a massive resistance against his saviors, the first humans he saw after years of hiding in the Danish wilderness, he realized that he finally was saved, and if making good use of his new opportunity, he could get closer to revenge for all of his suffering. So that will be our squad of 6, all of them rookies. Let's hope they all survive this. Now, before we send them out, we also want to quickly stop by the Proving Ground, where we are now looking to obtain one particular type of experimental ammo. No, not venom rounds, those are probably the worst, and not tracer rounds either, although those could actually come in handy. And no, it's not talon rounds either, crits will be a bit difficult to get with rookies. It's this one right here, the AP rounds, an ammo type capable of bypassing enemy armor. So far, we haven't really needed them in this playthrough because we usually have plenty of armor shredding capabilities. Still, for this mission they might be useful, even though they just cost us 4 Illyrium cores. Now, one quick note as we make our way over to the mission site. The achievement we are going for today specifically states that you can only unlock it in June or later, otherwise you would of course automatically unlock it at the beginning of the game. And this is why I think it's best to grab it as late as possible, just to give yourselves the best possible odds. Now, we will be fighting a good number of armored and mechanized enemies, and as you can see, our loadout somewhat reflects that. We have Alex Cardwell in the Serpent armor with blue screen rounds, Long Volley Disclario and Cheap Shot Trudeau both bring blaster launchers. Very importantly then, Nova Kelly carrying the Warden's Disruptor Rifle, probably the best weapon we have for this squad. Matthew Bush, our anti-armor specialist with AP rounds and the Shredstorm cannon. And finally, for some utility, Madrignac with the Boltcaster, a Frost Bomb and a Mimic Beacon. One very important thing to note at this point is that rookies cannot be equipped with PCSs, so in order to hit things we will purely have to rely on scopes, tracer rounds and the high ground. And with that, we are now good to go for what could possibly be one of the most interesting missions in this series. Let's see how these 6 go about neutralizing their enemy target.
Menace, ready to deploy.
The Resistance has been after an alien collaborator for some time now, and they finally got a solid lead on their location. They're asking for our help in ensuring the target is dealt with, so we're moving in to secure the area. Neutralize all hostile forces standing in your way. If possible, capture the VIP alive. If all else fails, take them out. Menace 1-5, target location confirmed. Move to engage. Eliminate all hostile contacts.
Opposition is concealed.
So we start things off in concealment and with 12 turns on the clock. We have a sizable building right ahead of us and it looks like the VIP is in another one, so getting to them might reveal a few nasty surprises. All in all though, the distance between our starting location and the evac point is not too large, but let's not forget that we are dealing with 6 rookies, so we might need an extra turn or two compared to a regular squad.
Deploying grapple.
Now we begin things with Nova Kelly, who can grapple onto the high ground thanks to her spider suit, and who in doing so immediately spots our first group of hostiles, a Codex, a Purifier and a Shield Bearer. And already we are not too far away from entering their detection radius. Still, we can safely move 2/3 of our squad onto the high ground here, while 2 of our more heavily armored guys remain downstairs.
Got some hostiles grouped over here.
Moving Jane up a bit further then also reveals 4 additional enemies. This right here, an absolutely nasty pod for a group of rookies. A sector pod, a mech, a shield bearer and a lancer for good measure. Needless to say, we finished this turn on Overwatch. And luckily we have no need to trigger reaction fire and reveal our position just yet. As Nova keeps moving though, she quickly spots that sector pod group again. And I think if we are able to take them out nice and quickly, then the rest of the mission should become a whole lot easier.
Roger. Moving to designated position. Moving to designated position.
That first group surrounding the Codex meanwhile not visible at the moment, but they could obviously come back and potentially flank us any minute, so we are getting everyone in fighting positions as fast as we can.
Scanning.
On Overwatch.
The enemy group then moves away from us, which is indeed a bit unfortunate. However, at least some of the hostiles here come to a stop right next to a car, which might give us a tiny bit of an extra advantage if we engage now. And to be honest, I don't really feel like we have much of a choice here. So let us now put 4 of our soldiers on Overwatch. Most of them actually also have repeaters equipped, so with a bit of luck we might just see an execution. However, to get us started we will use Matthew's Shredstorm Cannon. As you can see, there is plenty of armor here that we want to have removed. And thanks to its range, it can in fact hit all 4 enemies as well as the car. Alright, critical against the Lancer and the Shield Bearer dies to the explosion. Let's see what our reaction shots can now add, especially those fueled by blue screen rounds.
Armor still holding.
Alright, all 4 reaction shots going against the sector pod, but luckily that is enough to take it out. The explosion also damaging the mech, but unfortunately that one is still standing alongside the Lancer. And that is exactly why Martin Modriniak here was not part of the Overwatch ambush, because he is carrying the Mimic Beacon and now might be a good time to use it. And with the Lancer attacking but not killing the beacon, it looks like we will survive this turn unharmed. So the beacon goes down, but in a short moment so will these 2 enemies. We are definitely getting lucky here that the Codex part has not yet shown up, so let's make use of that advantage and have Slider Cartwell here take out the mech.
Target eliminated.
And that gets us another promotion. As you know, for rookies more than a single kill is not needed, and even though he already has one, let's give kill number 2 here to Vincent Cheap Shot Trudeau.
Impressed yet?
So there we go, 4 enemies down. In all likelihood that was the toughest part of the mission. I suspect the 3 enemies we saw first are hiding out somewhere in the shadows over here.
Wenn es sein muss?
And as soon as we have them taken out, we should then also focus on getting to the VIP.
Schon unterwegs.
Well, unfortunately, what was planned as a move to just get Long Volley Disgalerio closer to the VIP then reveals the Codex and its accomplices at exactly the wrong moment in time, and with about half of our turn already spent, this is now a very tricky situation we find ourselves in, especially for a group of rookies. Still, at least the Codex we can dispatch off quite easily. Since the Codex is considered a psionic enemy, the Disruptor Rifle is guaranteed to crit, but even without that, blue-screen rounds would already suffice.
Did you see that one?
That gives her the promotion and we get lucky. Thanks to the hair trigger, we now get a second action. But we are going to save that for now. Up next, let's switch over to the man who started all this. Long Volley Disgalario can now unleash some carnage. And yes, hitting just a single enemy might be a bit of a waste for the blaster bomb. But if we don't do this, then the Purifier here could get dangerous. So, cover destroyed, armor shredded, and we receive 2 points of fall damage on top of it all. And that means that Matthew Bush over here is now guaranteed the kill. So far, we are definitely making the most out of a dicey situation.
Not too shabby.
So, with the Purifier going up in flames, we now only have the Shield Bearer left. And chances are they deploy their shield on the next turn no matter what. So the threat level here is manageable, I would say. Still, let's see if we can't hit the 83%er with Modruniak and the Boltcaster. Lovely, that gets us the stun even better. And unless Nova now deals minimum damage, she should also get the kill.
Well, how about that?
5, be advised, hostile interceptors are inbound on your current position. Firebrand has a limited window to provide extraction.
Alright, 1/3 of the mission timer has expired and we have taken out slightly more than half of the enemies. Although I do suspect that we will see some reinforcements as soon as we deal with the VIP, so perhaps it's not time to celebrate just yet.
I can handle that.
And speaking of dealing with the VIP, that is probably what we should get to soon. So let's move our squad into position to breach the building containing them. From here we have several ways to continue. We could go in through the door or via the roof, so plenty of flexibility as we end our turn.
Got it covered.
And no sign of any threat on the enemy turn, so let's have Cheap Shot Trudeau open the door and take a peek inside the building. As you can see, that does not reveal anything, although line of sight could be better, so let's keep moving.
Whatever you say.
Now, before we open the next door here to reveal the VIP, let us instead approach them from a different angle, and in doing so, we unfortunately also spot our next two enemies.
I gotcha.
Target identity confirmed.
We've got Advent here.
Right, so it's just a trooper and an officer, but the officer in particular could become a problem. Now hiding behind full cover on the other side of the building, a location that we certainly do not want to approach too closely just yet, as we have one additional group of enemies waiting between our current position and the evac zone. So let us at least make sure that we efficiently deal with the trooper, so it would be good if Slider Cartwheel here could hit the 97%er. That he does, and so Long Volley Disgalario is up next to take the kill shot from a flanking position. Right, so that leaves the officer, who again is in a bit of a problematic spot for us at the moment. Now Modruniak here does have the Icarus armor equipped, and that does give us an option, and that option would be to throw a frost bomb down at the officer. However, I don't think we're going to do that, because it doesn't really solve anything. The officer would simply remain in that unfortunate spot, so instead let's just overwatch.
Scanning a beat. Did you see that one?
Alright, and for the first time in this mission a repeater kicks in, dropping the officer dead immediately, as well as some loot.
I'm going.
And that loot turns out to be another repeater, this one of the advanced kind. The ones that we have equipped, however, are already superior grade, so we will likely never end up using this. At this point, we can also move our squad a bit closer to the evac zone, and considering that we have 6 turns left, we can also already subdue the VIP, just so we get the full intel reward for the mission.
Status confirmed. Target package in custody.
To be honest, I was strongly considering just killing them. Let's not forget that the primary mission objective for us today is to get everyone out of here alive, but we're doing pretty good so far, so we might as well go for the extra challenge.
Affirmative. Overwatch. Covering fire shots.
Advent forces on the ground.
And there we are, just in time, the fourth and final enemy group arrives. Another mech, a shield bearer, and a regular trooper.
That armor's tough! Mir wird es hier zu heiß! Menace 1-5, we're picking up an enemy transport inbound on your current position.
So, in hindsight, perhaps not the best idea to subdue the VIP with one group of enemies still active on the map, because now we not only need to take out this group, but we also need to prepare for enemy reinforcements on the next turn, something that we probably could have delayed by 1 or 2 more turns.
Sure, I'll bring him in.
This move by Nova Kelly here, then a crucial mistake on my part. Somehow I figured that she would still be able to shoot afterwards, although you actually learn in the game's tutorial mission that that is not possible. So no idea what I was thinking there, perhaps the mission was just going a bit too well.
Seems doable.
And to make a bad situation worse, opening the door with Matthew Bush here does for some reason not even give us line of sight at the mech, and that's an enemy we just need to take care of because of its overwatch. Now at least Cheap Shot Trudeau here can do some free damage with the Rage Strike. Those alien ruler armors definitely a big help on this mission, so afterwards we will once again use a blaster bomb against a single enemy.
Dodge this!
But then again, we also won't face that many more.
Multiple threats eliminated.
Now unfortunately, a few civilians get caught in the blast radius, but as far as I'm aware, that does not actually change anything about the outcome of this mission. So let's stay focused on taking out the remaining enemies. Madrignac here has an 85% against the shield bearer, and if he hits it, that would be a much needed kill. Right, that's a 1 enemy down, let's make it 2 with Slaughter Cartwell, who can use the high ground here to guarantee the hit against the trooper. And that leaves us now with Long Volley Disglario, who does have a guaranteed hit himself. Unfortunately, that alone won't be enough.
Die Waffe verschlingt meine Munition!
So no other choice but for Nova Kelly to put down the VIP she just picked up, and 1 wasted action point later she can now take out the mech.
You know that was good.
To make up for it, however, the hatch trigger kicks in and we get the action point back. Although, once again, picking up the VIP here may have been a bit short-sighted. After all, putting her on Overwatch in anticipation of those reinforcements might have been the smarter idea. Well, it's too late for that now, so all we can do is wait for the reinforcements to appear. With 6 against 3, I think we should prevail. Alright, Trooper, Priest and Shield Bearer, nothing that we can't handle.
We've got Advent here!
So, our enemies have all sought cover, and as usual the Priest might prove a bit tricky. Still, we have 4 turns left on the clock, so there is no pressure just yet. And who knows, we might also get lucky with another repeater kill. The Trooper at least remains standing for now, and that also tells us what to do with the next move here. Good thing we saved that Frost Bomb, as we can now use it to neutralize the Shield Bearer, otherwise we would need to waste at least 2 soldiers' actions on them, and with the Priest also still roaming around we might not be able to afford that. So, with the Shield Bearer frozen solid for the next turn, let's move Matthew into a flanking position against that Priest. The hit here is not guaranteed, but with a bit of luck it should remove half of the Priest's health. Even better than that, it's a critical, which means Alex over here should have no trouble dealing the final blow, or at least as final as you can get with a Priest. And indeed, there we are, the sustain sphere is activated, but we should be able to put Quinn here on Overwatch to end our turn, while Nova Kelly once again puts down the VIP to deliver the killing blow against the Trooper. Yes, fortunately the Disruptor Rifle comes with a stock, so the kill is guaranteed.
Impressed yet?
Bitte Feuerschutz! Prüfe Visier.
Right, Quinn's reaction shot misses, so the flawless mission rating hanging very much in the balance here. Thankfully though, the priest only goes for stasis.
Menace 1-5, hostile interceptors are on high-speed approach. Your window for extraction is closing.
Alright, 3 turns left, but I think we've got this one in the bag. No further reinforcements are scheduled to appear, it seems, so let's quickly wipe out those few enemies that remain, starting with a 95%er that Madrignac here can already take from the evac zone.
Genau so.
And yes indeed, just like that, the critical gives us the kill, and we do have another 95%er with Alex Cardwell.
Hostile terminated.
And there we go, that's all enemies on the map defeated, and we still have 3 turns left until the evac. And let's cut this one short, shall we? Because of the stasis, it does take us one more turn to get everyone where they need to be.
VIP secure and in position for evac.
But eventually we make it out, with everyone still alive and plenty of time left.
Status confirmed. Mission accomplished.
This is Firebrand. VIP is secure.
So, there we are. Flawless mission. I honestly had not expected that, especially not after uncovering that first sector port group. But we did it. Achievement unlocked. Let's head back to the base.
Tell them to pose near an Advent burger menu. For science, of course.
20 years of peace and prosperity will not be undone by the reckless actions of a few misguided dissidents today. We stand with the elders. Trust in their wisdom, and we shall overcome this crisis.
An impressive performance, Commander. Our troops' skills are improving with every deployment.
Alright, there we are, home sweet home. Let's see what classes these guys have been assigned. First of all though, we have a bond to confirm, Cheap Shot Trudeau and Nova Kelly apparently getting along well. And while we could also instead pick Matthew Bush as his bondmate, let's go with the couple that has the highest compatibility. For promotions then, Alex Cardwell is assigned the class of Grenadier, a class that I assume Long Volley Discalerio would also love to receive, and in fact he does, so we might very well see some long volleys from him in the future. Cheap Shot Trudeau then, according to his bio, favoring marksman weaponry, however he is assigned the class of Ranger instead. Our first sharpshooter meanwhile, Nova Kelly, who does in fact also resemble Sharpshooter Tsunami. And with goggles like this, it is no wonder that Matthew Bush becomes a specialist, and that leaves us only with Martin Madrignac, who becomes another sharpshooter. So there we are, all 4 base classes represented here, and who knows, maybe one of these 6 will make another appearance later in the series. The VIP then, as always, not patron submitted, but for capturing them we get a whole lot of intel.
Another impressive effort, Commander. My expectations were high, and yet you have exceeded them.
So then, here we are, with another very elusive achievement unlocked, and I think ready to slowly move on to the endgame. One thing that I would like to hear your opinion about is what we should do with the assassin. Like I said, I would love to leave her alive for as long as it takes for her to max out her knowledge bar again and launch an attack on the Avenger, just so that we haven't built the defense matrix for nothing. However, it could take another month or 2, maybe even 3 until that happens, and I would like to wrap this series up at some point. So let me know what you think we should do with her, and as always I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did then I would be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, then you can of course go ahead and subscribe to stay up to date, grab some merch over on shop.petecomplete.com, or check out and maybe even pledge to the Pete Complete Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.